Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yonta Pravishya Mamamacha Imam Prasuptam Sanjeevayati Akila Shakti Dharasvadamna Anyam Sahasra Garnashravanattvagadi Pranan Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Tupyam Tasmadakam Mikta Viklavagishwarasya Sarvatmana Mai Grinami Yata Manisham Nicho Jaya Gunabasarga Dupravishtaha Uyeti Genik Puman Anubanditena Om Shivaya Krishna Shtayam Padalesham Dimavsham Samtinati Om Shivaya Krishna Shtayam Padalesham Padalesham State Saraswati Devi Goran Chanedusha Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Samsara Gaur Bhakti Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram. Okay, we are reading from 3rd canto 5th chapter 19th verse. Naitat chitram tvai shaktat Bhadarayana viryaje Grihito ananya bhavena Yatvaya aririshvaraha. Naitat chitram tvai shaktat Bhadarayana viryaje Grihito ananya bhavena Tatvaya aririshvaraha. Na, never. Etat, such inquiries. Chitram, very wonderful. Tvai, in you. Shattaha, oh Vidura. Bhadrayana, Vyasadeva. Viryaje, born from the semen. Grihitaha, accepted. Ananya Bhavina, without deviation from the thought. Yet, because Tvaya, by you, Hari, the personality of God, and Ishvara, the all Lord. Oh Vidura, it is not at all wonderful that you have accepted the Lord without deviation of thought. For you were born from the semen of Vyasadeva. Purport. The value of great parentage and noble birth is evaluated here in its connection with the birth of Vidura. The culture of a human being begins when the father invests the semen in the womb of the world according to the status of birth. A living entity is placed in the particular father's semen. And because Vidura was not an ordinary living entity, he was given the chance to be born from the semen of Vyasa. The birth of a human being is a great science. Therefore, affirmation of the act of impregnation according to Vedic ritual called Garbhadana Samkara is very important for generating good population. The population is not to check the growth of the population, but to generate good population on the level of Vidura, Vyasa and Maitreya. There is no need to check the growth of population. The children are born as human beings with all the precautions regarding their birth. So-called birth control is not only vicious, but also useless. So this gives the background. Now, we have to know the background of this verse. It's very important for us to understand. So the background of the verse is that, so Vidura was thrown out. We'll discuss that later, how he was thrown out and all. That is very important to understand, because this verse talks about the glories of Vidura. So Vidura was thrown out by Duryodhana, as you know. So because he was thrown out, he decided to go to the pilgrimage. And then while going to the pilgrimage, it's not enough that we go to the pilgrimage and go and see so many temples. It's very important to associate with the devotees. So he decided to have the darshan of Uddhava, then have darshan of Uddhava and take instructions from him and to know about the pastimes of the Lord, because he was more interested. His enthusiasm was to hear about Krishna, because he is a pure devotee of the Lord. Of course, he is none other than Yamaraj, incarnation of Yamaraj, and therefore his attraction for Krishna is natural. In our case, it is artificial. We don't have any attraction for Krishna because we don't want to chant. We don't want to wake up early in the morning. I don't want to chant. I don't want to hear a bell wake up in the morning. I don't want to study Bhagavatam. I don't want to follow the regulatory principles. I want to enjoy, because this is our nature. But in Vidura's case, it is natural for him to get attracted towards Krishna. And therefore, he was very eager to meet Uddhava. And he met Uddhava, and they discussed the pastimes. And Uddhava is explaining all the pastimes of Vrindavana and Dwaraka. And then everything that is in the 2nd and 3rd chapter. And then 4th chapter, 2nd and 3rd and 4th chapter. Now, he said that Uddhava said that actually Krishna was instructing Uddhava and Maitreya Muni together. Uddhava Gita, it is 11th canto of the Bhagavatam. Maitreya Muni was also there. So, but Uddhava, he heard from Uddhava, and Uddhava being younger to Maitreya Muni, he said that I don't want to discuss everything. I have given a nutshell in a Samkshepa. Samkshepa means in a nutshell I have given you. I explained the detailed explanation you can ask from Maitreya Muni. So, Vidura goes and meets Maitreya Muni and has the darshan of him. And then how he meets him, how he greets is very important. This chapter is telling, and especially the 3rd verse is very important. Please remember this verse. 3.5.3 is very important. And this verse can be quoted in Vyasa Puja also. We can quote in Vyasa Puja. When we write Vyasa Puja, we can quote this verse in glorification of a spiritual master. And by the way, today at 10 o'clock, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj is going to angiogram. So let us pray for him, and we will pray. At least I want everyone to unmute your mics and chant along with me. And also I am reciting Narsimha Kavacha and Narayana Kavacha for him. And please recite along with me Hare Krishna Mamata 3 times for the welfare and the benefit of, so that there is no major issue. So he comes out of and then he preaches Krishna consciousness. Such an exalted Vaishnava, pure Vaishnava, cannot get it, very rare. He's one of the pioneer soldiers of Prabhupada, and therefore we want him for more time so that all of you can get initiated under his shelter. It's very important, Please pray for him. Let us chant 3 times Hare Krishna mantra before I go into the verse. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Thank you. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. So let us pray for him. Please, extra rounds if we can chant for his health. And in fact, what we do is, in Abu Dhabi, whenever our Maharaj was sick, he had a stroke in 2002 or somewhere. At that time, what we did the chanting all the 16 rounds and offered to Guru. We can offer all your rounds to Guru. Okay? Don't take any rounds with you. Don't ask any material benediction from you. Offer all the rounds to Gopal Krishna Maharaj and tell Krishna, please protect him. You can offer all the rounds, 16 rounds and all. Everything can be offered, So I have also decided to offer from yesterday that all the rounds will be offered to Gopal Krishna Maharaj health. I offer to Krishna, my deities, and tell them, please take it for Gopal Krishna Maharaj health. So we can all chant, and number of chanting goes all over the world, Millions of malas goes, millions of rounds. It will be very beneficial. Okay. So this verse can be quoted when we quote the Vyasa Puja. We can recite this verse in front of our spiritual master. It's a beautiful verse, 3.5.3. Janasya Krishna Vimukasya Devat 3.5.3. Adharma Shilasya Sudukidrasya Anugrahayeta Charanti Nunam Bhutani Bhavyani Janardanasya. Janasya Krishna, Janasya of the common man, Krishna, Vimukasya, we have turned away. Prabhupada used the word insubordination. We don't want to worship Krishna. We have turned our face from Krishna. Deva. Deva means here by the influence. Why we are doing away from? Because we are attracted by the external energy of the Lord. Some acha film aayega, Bombay mein, Hollywood mein, then we go on to see. Bollywood mein aayega, to we are taking it. And then why we do it? Because adharma shilasya. We are the best among the worst fellows who doesn't follow the dharma, Bhagavad Dharma. Adharma shilasya. Because we are doing that, sudukidasya. Because we are doing adharma, we have to suffer. And therefore, Suduki, we are suffering for our own reactions. Sudukidasya. But to remove all the miseries, Anugrahaya, give mercy to the living entities. Anugrahaya charanti runam. These people, all great philanthropical souls, they travel all over the world. Bhutani Bhavyani Janardanasya. Bhutani Bhavyani. Bhavyani means great philanthropical souls. Bhutani, the whole living entities. So he is glorifying. Vidura is glorifying Maitreya Muni, such great philanthropical. So you can only, because I have turned away from Krishna. Actually, Vidura is not saying that. Vidura is not like that. He is completely absorbed. Ananya Bhavena, we saw in this verse. So he is not, but he is telling, it is showing his humility and is showing our push. This verse is applicable for us, not for Vidura, please. Because Vidura is quoting, don't tell that Vidura is fallen. No, Vidura is never fallen. Vidura is a perfect, pure devotee of the Lord, pure Vaishnava. So there is no question of his falling down. He was completely fixed in devotion service. There is no way. So we will see one incident where he made a mistake. That we'll also see. That is a higher purpose. He did a mistake, but it was a higher purpose. We will see that. So great philanthropical souls, they are suffering. So this is very important. So then he was asking all other things. He was glorifying, and he wants to know. He was asking in 3.5.1, I think 3.5.1 or 2. He's telling, what is real happiness? I don't want temporary happiness. Real happiness, what is this? He's asking. And then in 3.5.15, he is asking a very beautiful question. Oh, Maitreya, friend of the distress, The glories of the Supreme Lord can alone do good for all of us. Therefore, as we kindly describe essence of all topics of the Lord, he is asking. And then after he is asking about creation, manifestation, maintenance and annihilation. He is asking about the entire creation. And that's why it is going to start 3.5. I think there is a prayers by all the deities of the demigods for various elements. They are going to pray to Krishna 3.5.27 onwards. Beautiful prayers are there. 3.5.27 to 3.5.51. All the prayers talking about the lotus feet of the Lord. Beautiful verses. Please don't miss those verses, the beautiful verses. So here, after finishing the topics, then Maitreya Muni said, he says, please talk about the creation. Then Maitreya Muni was very, very overwhelmed. He was so much glorification. Actually, 3.5.2 to 3.5.18, he was glorifying only about Krishna and Maitreya Muni. He was glorifying. Then now it was turn of Maitreya. Maitreya Muni, I have glorified, I am only deserved to be glorified. This fellow is asking, was sitting now, all of you sitting. These people are kuch nahi. Manish Saxena Mataji kuch nahi hai. Ritu Mataji ठीक नहीं है. Rakshini Mataji ठीक नहीं है. ऐसा सोचते हैं. But no. Now you see the mood of Maitreya. He is a great devotee. He is a Bhagavata. Otherwise, he will not be entitled to speak Bhagavatam. So he is telling, he is glorifying Vidura. You are not an ordinary living entity. You are not an ordinary living entity. He is telling, he is glorifying him. This 3.5.19 is a glorification. So he says, he talks about his glorious. So before we talk about now, it is mentioned that he is the son of Vyasadeva. So let us understand the background, from Mahabharata. Small story I will tell you so that, it will make you understand how Vidura was born from Vyasadeva. Okay. So there was a king called Shantanu. And this Shantanu was ruling the Hastinapura. So actually, he and Ganga Mata, they were in upper planetary system. Due to some curse, they came back because they were so much engaged in love with each other. And Indra or some rishi was upset. They threw them to the material world. So Shantanu and Ganga Mata came to the material world. So Shantanu came and he was ruling the Kasana. One day he went to the river of Ganges and he saw a beautiful girl. And he was so beautiful. Ganga Mata was so beautiful. So he didn't know it is Ganga Mata. Then he was attracted and he said, will you marry me? He said, hey, Ganga Mata said, I have no problem, but I have condition. Now the girls are putting so many conditions. I'm seeing alliance for my son. The girls are putting so much condition. Girls are not being trained properly. No, Ganga put some condition during that period. She said that I will do whatever I want, but you should not interfere in my affairs. So you don't interfere. Whatever I do, you don't question me. If you question me, I will leave you. And this is what is happening in the current generation. The girls are not obeying their husbands. And that is what is happening. Please don't do that. Matajis, so many Matajis are there. Please be obedient to your husband. Sakadharma Charita. We should follow the footsteps of our husband. Unless he is not a devotee, he has become really bad. Otherwise, we have to tolerate it. So that's what it is. So much tolerance is required. Some more other, because otherwise the marriage institutions will fail. So here, Ganga Mata put the condition that you should not ask anything. Then Shantanu said, okay, no problem. Because Shantanu was so much infatuated by the beauty of Ganga Mata. So he said, no problem. Then they married and then first child was born. In the moment the first child was born, it was put in the river and it died. The second children, third children, fourth children, fifth children, seventh children, up to 7 children she put in the river. And Shantanu could not tolerate. All the children are going into the river and dying. He became very upset. 8th children was born. And she was about to put in the river. And Shantanu could not tolerate. He stopped her. How dare you put a small child, newly born child in the river? You don't have any mercy. And all he was shouting. Then she said, okay, you have told me like this. I am going. I am taking away your son also with me. And I will not going to be with you. I am separated from you. So she goes and she brings up the child. The child name is Devavrata, or his name is, other name is, what is Devavrata's name?
Bhishma.
What is the new? Who is that? Bhishma. Super. Excellent. So Bhishma. So Devavrata was brought up to 16 years. One day again, Shantanu was very depressed. He was alone in the kingdom. He goes to the river Ganges and he found that he was expert in archery, Bhishma, and he was attracted by the young lad And then he asked Ganga Mata, who is this? And he asked, who is it? My mother is Ganga. Then Ganga appears. He says, now 16-year-old, you can take him with him and you can make him the king. So immediately Shantanu was so happy that he has got a son. So he has got some company, and his prince, who is going to be the prince, who is going to take up the hair throne of the kingdom. So he was very happy to bring him, and then he was introduced, and he was so much affectionate and loved. So this was going on a few years. One day, what happened? Shantanu went on a hunting, and then he was about to cross a river. When he was about to cross a river, he saw a fisherwoman in the boat, and she was very fragrant. And she was very, very fragrant. And he was worried, why is she so fragrant, So he was attracted by her beauty. She was very beautiful. And she was a fisherwoman, but very attractive. And her name was, what is her name?
Satyavati.
Super, Satyavati. So her name is Satyavati. She was very, very attractive, and she was fragrant. Even though she was fisherman dealing with fish, she was fragrant because her body was full of fragrance. So I will tell you the reason behind it. So later. So she was fragrant, and then somehow he was attracted, and he crossed the boat. And then he decided that he wants to marry her because he doesn't have any queens. Ganga Mata has already left. So then he went and proposed his proposal to the fisherwoman, Satyavati's father. Satyavati's father said that I can give you my child on one condition. He also put condition. He said that my son should be the king. Nobody else should be the king. Then Shantanu was very depressed. Wow, my Bhishma, my Devavrata is such an young lad is there. How can I give this fisherwoman? She is not born in the Kshatriya family. How come this Shudra can become the king? He was very upset. He went back. He went back morose, along with his horses, along with his chariot driver. He was very unhappy, and he went. So she was very morose and all. And then Devavrata observed, why my father is morose? And then he asked the chariot driver, what is the reason? He said, this is the reason. He has fell in love with her, but this is the condition. This is the condition. Okay, there's nothing. I'll go. He goes to fisherwoman, father, Satyavati's father, and tell, I'll take a vow. Then he takes a terrible vow. And because of that vow, his name changed to Bhishma. They were showering flowers from the heaven, and they called him Bhishma. Bhishma means terrible, one who has taken a terrible vow. He said that I will not marry. First he said, no, I will not ask for the kingdom. I assure you, I promise. He said, okay, you will not promise, but your sons will ask. Then he said, I will not marry you. When he said that, they became very, and then finally he took Satyavati and took it to father. Father was very happy. And then 2 children were born from them. Shantanu produced 2 children. One is called, who are the 2? Anybody knows?
I think Vichitra Virya and Chitranga.
Vichitra Vijay Chitranga. Very good. Super. So Vichitra Virya and Chitranga. But Chitrangada died because of mysterious things. He died. Very, very early age he died. So Vichitra Virya was the king. And then Satyavati said, please, told Bhishma, please look out for girls for it. So at the time, the Kashi has got 3 girls. Kashi, the king, Raja of Kashi, the king of Kashi has got 3 girls. Amba, Ambalika, and Ambika. So these 3 girls were there. So he decided to go and conquer Kashi, and he brought those 3 girls. The moment one girl refused. Who is that girl? Mary.
Amba.
Amba. Very good. Super. Manisha Matari, super. So Amba refused. Why? Because she is in love with
Shalva Kumar.
Salva. Not Salva Kumar. Salva. She is in love with Salva. And therefore she tells Bhishma that I cannot marry Vichitra Virya because of this reason. Because I am already loving Shalva. She goes back to Shalva, and Shalva said that since you have been taken away by Bhishma, and you have become contaminated, I cannot touch you. You have to marry Bhishma, or you have to marry somebody else. I will not marry. She became very upset. She goes back to Bhishma and tells that this is what my Salva is telling. What you to do? He said, I cannot marry you. I can look for a good. No, you have to marry me. And then she was very determined to marry, but he refused, and she became very upset. And she said that I will come and kill you in the next Janma. And then she goes back. She curses Bhishma that I will kill you. And then he goes back, and he told that a lady will kill you, a girl will kill you. And then she goes back and she does austerities. And then she was born as, in the next Janma as,
Shikhandini.
Shikandi. Super, super Mataji. Shikandi, he was born as Shikandi, and finally he kills Bhishma, So in the meantime, what happened? Vichitravirya was married to Ambika and Ambalika. But unfortunately, without producing the children, Vichitravirya dies due to tuberculosis. That's what I heard. It's that the Mahabharata, I think. Tuberculosis, TB. He died. So what to do? Then there was no children. The girls have become widows. So what to do? Satyavati. Now, I will tell you Satyavati, how she invoked Vyasadeva. Because Satyavati, before this pastime, why she became fragrant, that you want to know, no? So Satyavati was a fisherwoman and she was driving in the river. So what has happened? One day, Parashara Muni, he came and asked for her to travel from one place to another. While traveling, it is Krishna's arrangement, This Parashara Muni is a Muni, he's a sage. He should not get attracted to the woman. But Krishna wanted that because he wanted Vedavyasa to come. So he was attracted to Satyavati and Satyavati was attracted to her. And then what has happened? In the middle of the river, they enjoyed and they cooperated with each other and they produced a child. And that child is Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva was born from Satyavati. And Satyavati became pure after the cooperation also, because Parashara Muni said that no, you are pure. So this is for the higher purpose. There is no other purpose for our unification, for a unity. There is no other purpose. So you will become pure. Not only you become pure, you will be a virgin. Not only that, you will also get a fragrance because your body is smelling bad. Now I give you a benediction. Your body will be fragrant, and that's the reason he's fragrant. So Vyasa Bhagavan was born out of Satyavati. Satyavati remembered, she asked Bhishma, can you marry this Ambika Ambalika? He said, I have taken a vow because of her father. I cannot break the vow. Okay, she remembered Vyasa Bhagavan and she called Vyasa Bhagavan. Vyasa Bhagavan immediately appeared for Satyavati and asked her. So Ambika Ambalika and Ambika and Ambalika. So Vichitravirya, sorry, which is not Vichitravirya. Vyasa Bhagavan came. Vyasa Bhagavan was wearing beard and all, his matted hair and all. He was looking he was blackish. Vyasa Bhagavan is blackish, Dvaipayana Vasa. He was blackish in color. So what has happened? Ambika and was asked to unite with him. The moment Ambika saw, she became trembled with fear. Out of fear, she trembled and then she produced a child. And that child is called?
Dhritarashtra.
No.
Bhishma.
Pandu.
Pandu.
Who said Pandu?
Prabhuji.
Manisha Mataji. Okay, very good. Pandu. So Pandu was born. And then what happened? Ambalika was sent. Ambalika was sent to Vyasa Bhagavan to get one more child. The Ambalika, she did not want to see this person. So she closed her eyes and enjoyed it. And Vyasa Bhagavan united with her. And this unison produced what child? Dhritarashtra. And he was born blind. And then, so first one is called Pandu was fearful, and therefore it is called Panduroga, if we call it. And Panduroga is nothing but, in the girls, the women, they call it anemic. Anemic, they call, no? That hemoglobin goes less than 12 or 11 for the girls. They are called Panduroga. This is anemic. So anemic, they have become anemic. And especially the ladies get anemic because of their discharges. So this Pandu was born, then Dhritarashtra was born, blind. So she said at least one child should be born with wisdom. So then she called the child and she called the Sudrani, and Sudrani was asked to unite. And the Sudrani, she united with Vyasa Bhagavan. And then who was born?
Vidura.
So Vidura was born with wisdom. And Vidura was such an exalted personality. He was a personification of, from the childhood, he has got knowledge of the Shastras, Dharma Shastra, Veda Shastra, and also he was also learning all the archery skills also. He was so excellent. He was so wonderful. He knows because he was born of a Kshatriya girl, even though he was born from, not Kshatriya girl. He was born on Vyasadeva. He has got all the wisdom and also he was trained all the three of them were trained in archery and all, and bow and arrow and all. No? And also, especially, Vidura was more interested in spiritual things, Vedic rituals, Vedas, scriptures, and all. He was very thorough, was completely thorough. He mastered all the Vedas. He was a perfect person, you know. So this was happening nicely. So Satyavati, and then you must understand, Vidura is a Mahajana. Why it's called a Mahajana? No? Two qualities which is mentioned in the. We have to have two qualities. One is that he knows the Bhagavata Dharma. He knows all the Vedas, scriptures, essence of all the scriptures he knows. Sarva Vedanta Char he knows. And Bhagavata Dharma he knows. Bhakti he knows. He, not only that he practices. Second is his qualities are all full of, he practices what he preaches. In our case, we don't practice. I don't practice what I preach. So that's why there is no potency. I'm not able to create any devotees. So, but in case of Vidura, he was practicing what is he preaching. And it's got tremendous effect. And therefore, he was a great devotee of the Lord. And it is confirmed because he is Yamadharmaraj himself. So, Yamadharmaraj was born as Vidura. Then past time also, it is also already coming in the next. I'll just summarily will give you, we'll not go into the details. So, why is a Mahajana? No? Because he not only preached Krishna consciousness, but he lived in Krishna consciousness. Living in Krishna consciousness is very important because that is going to decide your fate in the next life. Because if you are not in Krishna consciousness, you will be putting in the material world. So it is very important for us to understand. So Vidura, I don't want to go into the details of the story, how he was cursed. Because there was one Manduka Muni, the Manduka Muni, one thief went inside with Manduka Muni, and Manduka Muni cursed him that he has been wrongly punished because he was a small, Manduka Muni was a small person. He was only 5 years old. He pierced one ant, and therefore he was caught by Yamaraj, and Yamaraj put him to be killed. So, but somehow or other, Manduka Muni was very upset, and he said that how can you kill me? And then he was captured along with the thief who came into his hermitage. So immediately Manduka Muni was also taken along with the thief, and then the king told him, please hang him. When the king saw that it was Manduka Muni, he said, no, let us not do anything to him. He should not be punished. So he was left off. And then immediately he became very upset why he was caught. So he went to the Yamadharmaraja, and then Yamadharmaraja asked the question. And he said, you are a small child, you pricked some ant, and therefore we are asked to punish. No, he said, what is the act? After 12 years, the child, boy, the children makes mistake, we should not take it seriously. And therefore I punish you to become a Sudrani. Sudrani's son, and you will go into the material world. You will not be born in a good family, you will be born in a low family. So Manduka Muni cursed, and that's the reason. Manduka Muni's pastime is also coming the next. Somebody will explain you nicely. So he was a personification of Yamadharmaraj. Yamadharma Swayambhu Narada Shambhu. It is mentioned in the Bhagavatam now that 12 Mahajanas, and Yamadharmaraja himself is telling 6.3.20. He says, Swayambhu Narada Shambhu. Kumaro, Kapilo, Manu, Prakalado, Janako, Bhishmo, Balim, Vayasakim, Vayam. He is telling his Yamadutas, the 6th canto, the Jamila pastime. Vayam means including me. So he is one of the Mahajanas. So he will contact the life, you know. And Yamaraj, actually, this past, why he was cursed, also a reason. Why he has fallen, you know, he has no mistakes. But he made the mistake of putting Manduka Muni. This is also a pastime. Because he was praying to Krishna, some acharyas, some devotees are saying, sharing this realization, that he was praying to Krishna that I am doing a thankless job. I'm killing all the people, putting them to punishment, you know. I'm not able to engage in your devotional service. Please give me an opportunity. This is also devotional service I'm doing, but still I want to do some more devotional service, engage in your devotional service. Please give me some other service. So he is praying to Krishna. And Krishna said, okay. He arranged the Manduka pastime, and therefore he come as Vidura. And then he can preach Krishna conscious. He can associate with Uddhava, he can associate with Maitreya Muni, and he can be the instrumental in giving Bhagavatam to us. So that's why he was given an opportunity as Vidura. And now in his absence, who is handling that? Yamaraj's place during this absence. Anybody knows?
Aryama.
Aryama was officiating for Yamadharmaraj. So that's what. So And Vidura was fearless in expressing his concern to Dhritarashtra that he said that why, and he was also protecting the Pandavas. Why he has got protection? Why he is protecting the Pandavas? What is the reason? Can somebody tell me? Why
Because
is
they were following the dharma properly.
Dharma. Okay, that is one point. Second,
And they were devoted to Krishna.
so super. Then one more thing is there. So 2 points correct, absolutely correct. Okay. Third point I will tell you. Third point is, who is Yudhishthira Maharaj?
Yamarajan, sir.
No, he is not Yamaraj. He is son of Yamaraj.
Sir. Dharmaraj, sir.
So naturally, Vidura was attracted to Yudhishthira. His son only, no? Vidura's son, Yamadharmaraja's son is Yudhishthira Maharaj. So naturally, he was affectionate towards his son. Anybody will be attracted towards his son, correct or not? We are all attached to our sons. So Vidura was attached to because of his own son, and he was protecting and he gave a lot of instructions, and he saved Pandavas from the Lakshagraha, which was about to be, and he gave wonderful instructions, and he employed his people, wonderfully. Bhagavatam says wonderfully. He kept the people all the time. He was keeping his own spies who were not known to, and he told very nicely that he told indirectly. He said that there will be death which will come not because of weapon or anything, but something else. And then he says the forest fire will kill all the living entities, but the snakes and the rats dig the hole and save themselves. So he gave indirect index. Kunti Maharani could not understand, but Yudhishthira Maharaj could understand. Oh, there is going to be a forest fire. Duryodhana is not going to kill me. So they are going to kill me through burning the Lakshagraha, the palace which they are given. So I have to dig hole like snakes. I have to dig hole and save myself. So he did dig the hole, and what has happened? They set the fire to Lakshagraha, and the Purochana, who was supposed to set fire to the palace, he also died. So this is what we have to understand, how Vidura was always saving the Pandavas, because Vidura's Pandavas were devotees of the Lord, and they were all following the Dharma, as Mataji said. So this they were following Krishna consciousness, Bhagavad Dharma, and not only Bhagavad Dharma, and also fully Krishna conscious. All the devotees are pure devotees of the Lord. Therefore, naturally, Vidura was inclined towards them. Natural, because of the devotees of the Lord. So this is very important. He protected Pandavas. So this is what we have to understand. So what has happened? So many instructions he gave, nothing happened. Finally, 5 villages were asked. The 5 villages were asked, and then they were asked, why you are not giving the 5 villages? And then Vidura was not at all afraid. He was fearless. Abhayam. Abhayam means there is no fear. Because we are all fearful, because we are always in material anxiety. So that's why there's a nice verse, Tavat Bhayam. I think it is 396, I think. Yes, I think 396. Tavat Bhayam Ravinadeka Suburna Mittam Sogas Praha Paribhavo Vipulasta Loba Tavan Mamedi Asatavagrahati Moolam Yavan Nategri Maprayam Pravranita Lokaha. Because Vidura was not conscious of his body. He was conscious of only the soul and Krishna consciousness. Ananya Bhavena. So he was fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness. He was not fearful. He was not at all fearful. Tavat Bhayam, till the time fear. Dravina, wealth, they have this body. Subur, our relatives, and Nimittam, all the wives, children. So Spraha, we are always in lamentation. Spraha, desires are already there. Oh, I am Milega, ye Milega, oh Milega, ye Milega. So already desires are. So Spraha, this I think Golden Man Sachs has sacked so many people. Facebook has sacked so many people, and Facebook, and then Twitter has slapped so many people. They terminated so many people. So people are in anxiety. Shogas Praha, Paribhavo, Vipulastalova, extremely greedy. Tavan Mameti. Because why? Because Mameti, I am me and my wife. This is very important. Mavan Mameti, Asatavagraha. We are attached to this body and children and all. Asat Avagraha. Asat means These are all temporary. Avagraha means completely captured. We are attached to this so much. Arti Moolam, this is the source of return. Tayavan Natengri Mabhayam. When Abhayam means safe lotus feet. Till the time we take shelter of Krishna. Yavan Natengri Mabhayam Pravrinita Lokaha. So this is a very important point, very beautiful verse. So please remember this. So Vidura was fearless and he was so bold enough to tell when the 5 villages were asked, when Krishna came and they were refused. And then he told, because why Dhritarashtra did not hear. But the question may arise, Pandu was a devotee, Vidura was a devotee, why Dhritarashtra was not a devotee? All were born of Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva, who is this? Incarnation of Vishnu. Correct or not? Literary incarnation of Vishnu, who has written all the Puranas, all the scriptures, all the essence. He has written everything. How can his child can be? It can be. Just like Prahlad Maharaj was born from Hiranyakashipu, who was a demon. So there is no, because association. So Prahlad Maharaj associated with the pure devotee Narada Muni. Whereas Dhritarashtra associated with his son, Dushashana and Duryodhana. Dhritarashtra associated. Wrong association. And Sakuni. Sakuni was completely poisoning him against Pandus and all, Pandavas. So because of this poisoning, because of his wrong association, even though he was born of a great, just like, Vidura was born from Vyasa Bhagavan, this person was also born from Vyasa Bhagavan. But because of the wrong association, he was completely in darkness. Not only he was physically blind, he was also spiritually blind. He was so much mad because he was so much attached. And that's why in the Bhagavad Gita he says, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveta, Ichusva, Kim Kurvata Sanjaya. What they are doing, Sanjaya, please tell me what they are doing. What is my son's? And he says, no, Mamaka. What is my Mamaka? Mameti. Because he was fearful. What will happen to this war? Mamaka. Mamaka, Pandavacheva. Pandavas are somebody else. So because of this discrimination, what has happened? He suffered. Because Pratak Deha Bhagavatam says. Pratak Deha means discriminative. No, this is mine, this is not. This is my wife, this is my children. I like it. I don't like others. So this is Pratak Deha. So the Pratak Deha Bhava, Pratak Bhava, we call it. Discriminative attitude is very, very, very dangerous. And therefore, because Dhritarashtra was wrong association, and because he was so much attached, and he was being enlightened by Vidura, because the first gambling match also he told, don't do this. He only stopped Vidura. Vidura only stopped with Dhritarashtra. But Dhritarashtra was not listening. And Bhagavatam tells us 3.1.9, Shata Punya Leshaha. Shata Punya Leshaha means, Shata means reducing. Lesa, little Punya is there. Shata means it is reducing. Punya means pious activities. The last of the pious deeds were diminishing for Dhritarashtra. Because he doesn't want to obey. He doesn't want to hear Vidura, the Prime Minister of the country. He was giving good advices. He was not listening to the Prime Minister, and the suffering is inevitable. Shatapunya, because he has lost all the pious deeds. Every Shatapunya Lesha means everything is lost. Because what has happened when the Shatapunya Lesha happens, then we will not hear the inner voice of the super soul. We don't listen to Krishna, and we will not obey Krishna, and we will do all material decisions which are dangerous and catastrophic for us. And I would say it has happened for me also. So I took some decision because my Shata Punya Lesha has happened. I took some decision which has become very catastrophic for me. I'm regretting for that. So it is very important that we should create pious deeds only by Krishna consciousness. So it is very important that we should become a nice devotee. Our behavior, that's why Vidura's behavior is exemplary. We are going to see that. So he says that he doesn't bother for the fear. He says, Sayesha dosha purusha with 3.1.13 is very important. How dare he speaks in front of the audience and in front of now the politicians, people are afraid to talk about in Tamil Nadu, people are afraid to talk about this chief minister who is doing so much atrocities. He and his son is completely controlling the entire cinema industry. No cinema can be released without the permission of the chief minister's son. No cinema. Complete control of the cinema industry. And all the cinema industries are licking their foods. They're so much fearful, But here, Vidura was not fearful because he was completely in Ananya Bhavana, lotus feet of Krishna. He says, that very nicely. Grahan pravishtoyam apatya matya pushnachi krishnan vimuko gatashri jajasa saivam kulaku kaushalaya. He says, for the sake of family, kula kaushalaya, asaivam inauspicious things are, we are maintaining offense personified, Duryodhana, as an infallible, but he is envious of Lord Krishna. And because you are maintaining a non-devotee of Krishna, you are devoid of all auspicious qualities. Relieve yourself of this ill fortune as soon as possible and do good to the whole family. Kula kaushalaya. Kaushalaya means good thing to the family. He is telling that. The moment he heard, Duryodhana became very, 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 very powerful. And then he says, he became very, spoke a strong verse. He says very nicely, Kayena matro pujuha vimdikmam dasya sutamyat palaneva pushtaha tasmin pratipe parkratya haste nirvasyatam ashupurashravasana. Who asked him to come here? He says, he is the son of Shudra. Second, he is crooked and he spies for Pandavas. And third, he is taking food from us. He is taking food from us and he is supporting the enemies. And then toss him out immediately and only give his breath. But how Vidura behaved is very important. 3.1.16 is a very, very important verse. This verse, please remember, and I have spoken to this on this previously also, but it's worth discussing this verse. This verse must be practiced in your life. You know, it is beautiful verse. Please remember this verse. If you want, I can send you, one of my godbrothers has given a big class in Abu Dhabi. I can send you how wonderful is this. I can send, I'm just giving you a glimpse. If possibly, if devotees wants, I can give you the full articles. You can go through all the articles. That will give you how to behave. How a devotee, ananya bhavena, to behave. He says, Vayam danudhvari nidhaya maya varatu puro marmashu aditopi sayitamatyul banakarna baner gatavyato yat urumanya yana. He says, Gatavyataha. It is very important, Gatavyataha. Thus being pierced by arrows through his ears and afflicted to the core of his heart, Vidura placed the bow on the door and quit his brother's palace. He was not sorry. He was not feeling sorry. And he considered acts of external energy to be supreme. Because he was obeying Krishna. Especially the purport is very important. The last few lines of the purport is very important. Can you take that verse, Prabhu? 3.1.16. I want to discuss that. That's very important now. 3.1.16. Last few lines of purport. Please go down. See here. Here. I'll read out something here. See. Now he got the opportunity by the grace of Duryodhana. Instead of being sorry, it's a strong word of itself. He thanked him from within because it gave him the chance to live alone in the holy place and fully engage in devotional service. So, Gatavyataha, he was always ready to leave the palace and devote completely to land. Now he got the opportunity. Actually, he wants to go to pilgrimage, but he doesn't want to leave because he wants to instruct his brother. So he has got so much love for Dhritarashtra also. Instead of being sorry, he thanked him from within and gave him the chance to live alone and fully engage in devotional service. The word Gatavyataha is significant. Without being sorry, is significant because Vidura is relieved from the tribulation, which every man entangled. He thought there is no need to defend his brother with his bow because his mother was meant for ruination. Thus he left the palace before Duryodhana. Maya, the supreme energy of the Lord, here both internally and externally. This is a very important point. You know, somebody insults us like this. He is the prime minister of the country. He is elderly. He is like a Chitapa, Chacha. He's a Chacha. How much respect Duryodhana should give in front of the audience? Because the father can chastise the son. There is no problem. It is like his son, no? Duryodhana is a son, Vidura's son. He can chastise, but he didn't chastise him. He chastised him because Duryodhana was not chastised. He can chastise, but a son should not speak like this. But the son spoke like this, disobedient. And therefore, we can see Duryodhana was getting infatuated by the internal and external energy, which is working on Duryodhana. And the internal energy worked on Krishna, on Vidura. Vidura said, no, thank you very much. Thank you very much, my dear. Thank you. So, Duryodhana, under the influence external, was making progress towards world ruination. And he also internal energy helped in particular situation. Internal energy. So internal energy was working on Vidura. And that's how somebody insults us. Some mother-in-law, father-in-law, daughter-in-law, son, husband, daughter, children, everybody will insult us. Please, this verse we should take it. Without being sorry, oh, I don't deserve to be like this. My mother-in-law has told me, my father-in-law has told me like this. My husband has told me I don't deserve it. Like that we feel self-pity. He didn't do it. What did he do? Ananya Bhavena. He said, let me go to the pilgrimage and do devotional service. So what we should do? We should move around and chant the holy names of Krishna. Go to the pages of Bhagavatam and read this purport. So let the external energy does not react. So he says he was hurt. Definitely we are hurt. That is a fact. That is a fact. You cannot charge it. Somebody insults us, we are hurt. Definitely we are hurt. There is no doubt about it. But we don't carry the hurt and will feel self-pity for us. So that's what he didn't do. He immediately went for the pilgrimage. He associated with Uddhava. He associated with Maitreya Muni. He purified. Not only that, because of this act, what has happened? Krishna is telling Uddhava, please personally convey my inquiries to Vidura. Nobody else he told. Not even any of the Pandavas. But he told specifically to Vidura. Because Vidura's quality was exemplary. So this is very important, So it is very important. So this is how. And this verse tells us one thing. Be ready for everything. We should be ready. Anytime anybody can do anything for us. So we should be ready. So this is what. Anti-faithlessness, you should have unflinching faith. To cultivate these things, then naturally you will be happy. So even now, values are correct. So we should be ready for everything. Like this. He was ready. So this is very important. Even Rama was ready. And Kaikeyi told him that we have to go to the forest. It is to teach that any condition we should be ready. That is a devotee. Be thankful to Krishna. So here, the situation may change. Everything may change. We have to be thankful to Krishna. So this is what he was thanking Krishna, internal energy of the Lord. He was thinking about Radharani and Krishna. Thank that I am going to the pilgrimage. So this gives me an opportunity not to associate with Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra and go back to associate with the devotees and purify my consciousness. And he purified. Because of the association of Uddhava, we are the association of Maitreya Muni, purified. Entire Bhagavatam was spoken. So it is very important. So we have to be ready, Be satisfied. Because he was satisfied. Okay? Santosha. Santosha 3 kartabhya. Samsare bodhane jane. 3 things. Santosha trishu kartabhya. Samsare bodhane dane. Samsara means wife. We should be satisfied with wife. Our husband, whoever is coming. Bodhane, whatever food coming, Oh, today mere ko chenna nahi mila. Today puri nahi mila. Sab दाल चावल मिला ठीक है खिचड़ी मिला ठीक है संसारे भोजने धने whatever wealth we should be happy but we are not happy. I am not happy. Today I want variety. I want this sabji, paneer makkan mala I want aloo gobi, I want rasamalai. This is what we want. Now, because our tongue wants. So bhojane, whatever food, santosha 3 na kartabhya. Nartakatya means, what is that? 3 things we should never be satisfied. That is Swadhyaya, Japa, Dana. Swadhyaya means chanting. Oh, today I will chant the 16 rounds, throw the chanting beats. No, I should chant more rounds. So we should not only this, what I want to do is, we are hearing this Krishna Katha, but we have to meditate on this. Tatshun 1, we are hearing now. Supatan, we have to go and read. Go and read 3.1.16. Because with Vidura's glorification. Read the verse, read the purport again and again. And then try to contemplate. Tatshun 1, Supatan, Vicharana. How to apply, how to react to this material world. And this is what is required. Vidura acted correctly. And that's why Krishna remembered. Because not only he preached Krishna consciousness, but also he practiced. So practice is very important. Our behavior is very important for the devotion. So that's why Swadhyaya. We have to do a lot of Swadhyaya. Japa, chant increase maximum. And Dana, whatever it gives. So this is very important for us to understand, This is very, very important. This is very, very important. He was satisfied. The satisfaction is very important. This situation, you will be hurt. He is hurt. He's hurt and he's not thinking about it. After meeting Uddhava, he was such an exalted personality. After finishing the war, he tells one verse 3.1.41, no? That is really mind-boggling, no? 3.1.41. This is very important, He was hurt, he was thrown out, and then he comes back again in first canto of the Bhagavatam. This is very important, Saumyanu Soche. Beautiful verse. This verse is very important for us to understand the qualities of Vidura. Saumyanu Soche Tamada Patantam Ratre Pateya Vidudrotraheha Niryapito Yena Sumutsva Purya Aham Saputran Samanvrutena Saumya Anusoche. Oh gentle one, he is telling Uddhava, I simply lament. Anusoche, I'm simply lamenting for Dhritarashtra. What he did? He did 3 offenses. First is, what is that? He rebelled against the Pandavas. That means rebelling against devotee, offending the Vaishnavas. Then second, disobeying the orders of the spiritual master. He offended the spiritual master. Vidura is the spiritual master. Whatever instruction he gave, he was thrown out of the house. So spiritual master offends. Offense at the devotees, offense at the spiritual master. Third, what he did? He was attached to his sons. He followed the path of his son. All these 3 are the downfall for Dhritarashtra and his whole family. And then he says, Kula Kaushalya. What is good is get rid of this Duryodhana. But he didn't listen to him. He just followed the footsteps of Duryodhana. Because he wants to follow the footsteps of Duryodhana because he was affectionate towards his son. And therefore, he offended Vaishnavas. He offended his spiritual master. And that is the reason, Adat Patantam, the fall down. So, whenever we offend the devotees, but now, see Vidura, what he's saying. So, we have to be very careful. We should not offend the devotees. We should not offend our spiritual master. Then our life is finished. But here, because his lineage is very good, he was lucky. He was Vyasa Bhagavan's son. So, Vidura is such a compassionate. So, Vidura is compassionate. So, spiritual master is compassionate. So, what he does? He goes back again. And he says, I am going to liberate him. He goes and speaks instructions to Dhritarashtra. And Dhritarashtra was liberated. Correct or not? The first canto of the Bhagavatam tells. He goes back, first canto, 13th chapter. He goes and gives strong instruction to Dhritarashtra. Don't get attached to the property. Go to the forest and meditate on Krishna. And that was the instruction given to him by Vidura. Vidura goes back. Can you imagine? His owner has offended him. He has hurt him with strong words. If I were to be there, I would say, why you should go and tell this Dhritarashtra? He's a rascal. He threw me out of the palace. He put me into difficulty. He didn't look like that. Because his character is behaved. And this is what we have to understand. The glories of Vidura. Vidura's glories are unlimited. And that's why he was given an opportunity. 3rd canto, 4th canto, 5th canto. Almost 6th canto, I think. 4 cantos were given to Vidura and Maitreya because of this quality. And Vidura's quality was so exemplified. And you can see even 3.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the questions are so wonderful. Because he was Ananya Bhavena, without any deviation, he has accepted Krishna. So we have to accept Krishna. That is very important. And we have to be in the eternal energy of the Lord. There will be so many insults. As a devotee, you will be insulted. Teraskarta, Vipralata, Shipta, Shapta, everything will happen to us. As a devotee, we have to go through all the sufferings. But we have to tolerate and not retaliate. But what we should do, we should move away from them and do the devotional service, if possible. If you cannot move away from your father-in-law and all, just move away from the mind. Don't get associated with the mind, thinking about what they have told. Because we carry in the mind, oh, yeah, my mother-in-law has told me like, my father-in-law has told me like, husband has told me like that. Don't keep it in the mind. If you keep it in the mind, you will feel sorry for you. You will feel pity. You will not go to Krishna. Gatabhyataha. You will not do Gatabhyata. You will go into revenge. You will go into fighting and you will suffer. So who is going to suffer for ultimately? You are going to suffer. You will do reaction. She will do another reaction. Their husband or father-in-law, mother-in-law. And then you will get this chain of reaction and you will suffer more. And you will be entangled. Our purpose is to go back to Krishna. We don't want to suffer in this material world. We are suffering enough. This life, this mother-in-law, this father-in-law is enough for us. Why we have to take another birth and suffer with another mother-in-law and father? So that is intelligence. That is super intelligence. So what we should do? We should take shelter of Krishna and seek association of pure devotees. like-minded, Sajjan, Swajati. Swajati means like-minded devotees. Take shelter. Even the devotees will insult you. Nobody will spare. Even the devotees are in the modes. They may affect you. They may insult you. But we should leave and take the association to the like-minded devotees and do the devotional service. And that's what Vidura is. Okay? Hare Krishna. We'll stop here. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 3.5.19 ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Śrīla Gurudeva ki jai. Jai Gaura Prabhu. There are so many things to be told, but time is of essence and stop. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Very wonderful class, Prabhuji, and I can see that you are spending so much time in Krishna consciousness. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for taking time for preparing so much.
Any questions? Mataji's, Prabhuji's?
Any devotee has any questions, you can ask, or you can unmute or type in the comment box.
It's very difficult, Mataji. I'm practically spelling. We cannot be like Vidura. That's a fact. But even 1% of Vidura, Krishna will be pleased. That's what we have to say. We cannot be 100% of Vidura. But we have to go towards Vidura qualities. That's what we have to try. And that's what Krishna wants from us. Krishna is not expecting to be Vidura. We can never become a Maharaj, correct? Or Yudhishthira Maharaj, or Parikshit. We cannot become. So we have to try to go towards them. And that's what Bhagavatam is training us. Every day Bhagavatam is training us to go towards that pure devotees, to attain those qualities.
Hare Krishna. So
Okay.
किसी वक्त का कोई प्रश्न है तो आप पूछ सकते हैं. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, then now.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, what was the name of that Muni with whom Satyavati, Vyasa was born?
Vyasadeva Bhavan is Parasara Muni.
Parakrami. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Parashar Muni.
Parashar Muni. Okay.
Bhagavatam is very tough to practice, but we should try. That's what Krishna is saying. We may not become 100% perfect, but whatever 1%, 2% perfect, Krishna is going to help us and spiritual master is going to help us. You know? Oh, spiritual master, we are like Dhritarashtra. Okay, spiritually blind, materially blind, and we are attached. That is a fact. So, and then our spiritual master, Gopala Krishna Maharaj, Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, they are all followers. They know us. So they will pick us up. So we have to take shelter of them and try to do some service to them. Okay? And that's what it is expected. We are all Dhritarashtras. You are not, but I am Dhritarashtra.
Prabhuji, even worse than this Rashtra, in fact. Prabhuji, my kid is going for school admission today. I have to decide the school and then admit him. So just seek your blessings and devotees' blessings.
Yes, definitely you will get the admission. Prabhu Krishna's mercy. We'll pray for you. We'll pray for the Krishna Adman. And I request all the devotees to pray for 10 o'clock is the time for chanting the holy names. Please try to chant extra rounds for Gopala Krishna's speedy recovery because angiogram is being done. Okay? Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Gopala Krishna Maharaj ki jai. Vidura Maharaj ki jai. Śrīla Prabhupada Vyasa Bhagavan Maharaj ki jai. Maitreya Muni ki jai. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Śrīla Gurudeva ki jai. Jai Gaura. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 3.5.19 ki jai. Please read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam every day. Please. Hare Krishna. Please read in between the lines. Purports are so wonderful. We may not understand the verse or translation, but purports are very good. So that's what we have to think. Why internal energy worked on Vidura, external energy worked on Dhritarashtra. So we have to see every day whether internal energy is working or external energy is working on us. So internal energy working, we are in devotional service. External energy working, we are in Maya. Clear? No? So this verse is very important. Please read the purport nicely. Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
140
Vaishnav Vrind ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.